Hello and welcome back to Politics on the Prairie, or Dan the Democrat, or whatever I'm calling myself these days. Today we're going to go over the proposed Texas redistricting map and kind of explain what the districts look like, how the gerrymandering works, and what it's looked like throughout the years, and try to see what the Republicans are cooking up in Texas. Try to make this a little short, just so it's more digestible, but we've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. So, here is the Texas map in total. As we can see here, it has I'm going to turn on the 2024 president diagram on it. We can see the districts colored by their partisanship, red for Republican, blue for Democrat. And we can see here that the Republicans have kind of spaghettified the Dallas area. You still have the quote-unquote fajita strip configuration down in South Texas, but certainly they've been drawn to be a lot redder. Houston has been parceled out, same with Austin, but El Paso has been preserved. But let's get into it district by district, and then we'll talk about the map as a whole. So first district, we have here in East Texas. Not too much has changed here. It's been drawn out here into a little bit more eastern Texas to make room for the other districts. Very Republican, as we can see, throughout the sum total of its life. If we turn on the precinct layer here and highlight it only, give it a second to load here, folks. This is a big map, but we can see the largest municipality in this area is Tyler, and getting that loaded in here. With Longview, and then rounding it out, we have Texarkana, and then down here we have, I believe this is Marshall, as well as some other blue spots there, but not too many. It's very Republican. If we go to the second district, we will go down into northern Harris County and parts of Montgomery County in the Houston area. So we can see here the Montgomery portions are very red. They go down and take out portions of Harris County, taking out some of the blueness around here in the Humble, Atascosa areas, north of Jersey Valley and Spring Village and Spring. As you can see here, this area is still pretty solidly Republican, though it's gotten a little bit bluer over time. Did get a little redder in 2024. We move to the third district. This is where we start to see some very big gerrymandering. The third district, I'll give it a second to load here, takes Collin County, eastern Collin County, central Collin County, going into the Plano area, and takes it and drags it into rural East Texas here. So we can see here, solidly Republican. It's gotten a bit bluer since 2012, but still has remained about 20 points Republican, though getting a little closer in the Senate election and in 2020 presidential. District 4 remains a gerrymander, but they did kind of make it a little cleaner looking, but this time they take western Collin County and eastern Denton County, so Plano, Frisco, parts of Prosper, and drag it into northeast Texas, drawing into the Sherman, Bonham, Paris, Clarksville communities. Again, kind of the same story with 3, solid Democrat base of around 36 to 40%, but far outdwarfed by the GOP majority. If we go to Texas, if we go District 5, this is kind of a newer configuration we see here. This takes in eastern Dallas County around the Garland, Mesquite areas, going close to the Park Cities, a lot of these blue areas, and drags them into kind of just east of the DFW Metro. So we have Kaufman County, Van Zant, Henderson, all the way down to Anderson. Again, it's kind of the same story. 40% or 41% during Biden in the 2024 Senate. A little better there, as we can see, a little bluer in Dallas County. But, still the GOP is hovering around 60% to draw them out. 6 is kind of drawn similar to it was. However, this time it really goes up into Irving area, which got a lot redder in 2024. We can see if you look at the Senate, it's a lot bluer. If you look at President, a lot bluer, but Irving gets a lot redder in 2024. We can see this district was 3 points to the left, or 3 points to the right, rather. Kind of interestingly is that here in Ellis County, I believe Ellis County actually moved to the left. We can see here on the right-hand side of the screen, D plus 3.21 from 2024. So counteracting some of the red shift in Irving, but not too much. Obviously, still it's kind of the same story. Republicans are hovering around 60%, while Democrats struggle to get to 40. That kind of seems to be the baseline we're seeing in a lot of these Dallas area districts. We move to District 7. We are taken out of Dallas, I believe. Give it a second to populate here. And we are taken down to Harris County. We have our first Democratic pack, or district drawn to pack a bunch of Democrats. Here we see the kind of the reverse, where Democrats are hovering around 60%, and Republicans are hovering around 35 to 40. In some cases, well, their high point is 36, though certainly in 2012 this area was a lot redder. So some of the change in political coalition certainly present here in this district. But we see it has a huge rightward shift in 2024. A lot of that is focused in the Harris County portion, but certainly, definitely the Fort Bend portion as well. Shifting right considerably. We're going to turn this up to 3 times so we can better see that. And yeah, see a lot more rightward shift there. Moving to District 8. We are still in the Harris County area. And this district is kind of a same story. We turn on the 2024 president. This is kind of similar to District 2, but it takes in western Harris County instead of northern Harris County. We can see the Montgomery, and then all the way up to Walker County, and then you have Waller going down into western Harris County. I'm going to turn on the block group thing to make it run a little bit better. See, taking out that kind of bluer portion of western Harris. Again, Democrats hovering around 40% or so, but failing to achieve any sort of majority. We go to District 9. We're now in eastern Harris County. And this is a really sneaky gerrymander. So we can see here that it's fully contained in Harris County. But we're using, I call this a sneaky gerrymander. If we turn up the highlight function here, all this blue area here south of Pasadena, where you get into South Houston, Southern Houston, is put into District 36 rather than putting in District 9. Instead, these redder areas out in Atascosa, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, are put into District 9, making it a lot redder. This district is a lot closer than many of the GOP gerrymanders. So Democrats might be able to hold it. I believe this as a Democratic seat right now, but as you can see here, massive shift right in 2024. A lot of that's driven by the shift right among Hispanics and urban Hispanics in Harris County, and some of the redder portions of the district did shift left a bit, but certainly not enough to counter out this massive red shift. If we move to District 10, we are now taken into northern Harris, but also all the way out to Travis County. This is the Austin Snake District, as it's been called. We got Bryan here, where Texas A&M is, going up into sort of north of Harris County here, snaking all the way through, into the Travis area. It takes the governor's mansion down here in Austin, some blue territory here, goes out to Lakeaway. Again, same story. Democrats get up to 40%, but they're beaten back with GOP 60%. And again, another huge rightward shift, as we saw all over Texas, of about 8 points here. We move to District 11, same story, but this time the snakes to the west, taking a lot of the Round Rock and Pflugerville area in northern Travis and a little bit of southern Williamson, and pairing it with the Texas Hill Country out in North Texas Hill Country out in District 11. Give it a second to load here, folks. This is a big map. And this computer is not a mapping computer, as we can see here. Northern Texas Hill Country out to San Angelo, Brownwood here, and even all the way out to the Midland Odessa region in the Permian Basin, which is all kinds of ridiculous. Moving to District 12. Gonna give it a second to load here. District 12. Come on. Let's just give it a second. We're back in the DFW area. This takes northern Fort Worth, what used to be a part of, I believe, Beasley's district in this area, and pairs it with Weatherford. Again, same story. The GOP really seems to like doing this 40-60 configuration. Try to shore it up. It has gotten a little bit bluer on the whole from 2012, but not too much. Again, you see a huge rightward shift, and but not as exaggerated as you've seen in other areas, but still a big rightward shift in 2024. See here, mainly concentrated in the Fort Worth area. So we move to District 13. I believe District 13 is out here, going to be out here in West Texas. Yep, or North Texas rather. District 13 is kind of a comical district in that it pairs the very rural Texas Panhandle and snakes all the way down the DFW area to take out Denton, the classic hippie college liberal town in Denton County, UNT and all that stuff, and pairs it with rural northern Texas, which is so similar with Denton, of course, and this area isn't necessarily drawn to be super much more liberal. It's still hugely GOP, but takes out Denton so that District 26 can be made red. We move to District 14. Wait for that to load up here. Give that a second. District 14 is down here in the Gulf Coast. This district's going to be red no matter how you draw it, really, but the most egregious thing here is they crack Beaumont, cracking some of the majority black areas of Beaumont, Texas, and then pairing them with Vidor, of all places, and then skirting around the Gulf Coast down here in Galveston, taking northern Brazoria County, Pearland, and parts of Galveston, and then snaking along down to the Freeport area. Sort of another 40-60 GOP gerrymander, though. Egregious thing here is really the cracking of Beaumont. If when we get to District 15 here, this is one of the snakes, the snakes that go from South Texas up into kind of North Gulf Coast area. This is one of the mostly majority Latino districts, as we can see here. It's 81% Latino. Goes into McAllen, and this one then is now it's now pretty GOP, again 40-60, but a lot of that has to do with now the swing in the area. So we can see here R+15 shift from 2020, a lot closer in 2020, and then you go back to 2016. This district is pretty solidly blue, especially down there in the McAllen area and then Hidalgo County, but those counties have shifted to the right a lot, so now we have a district that is pretty red. If we go to District 16, this is a Dem pack in El Paso, though certainly you probably want to draw this anyway, even on a fair map. Still pretty Democratic, but getting a lot redder, as we can see here, an almost 20-point shift to the right from 24. Historically, it's been about 67, 32 or Democrat, but it's certainly gotten a lot more competitive in recent years with the shift rightward among Texas Hispanics. We go to District 17. Almost halfway there, folks. Almost halfway there. Let's go. District 17, we get here back into Central Texas. Heart of Texas area. This is going to be around Waco. Get this to load here for a second. Here we go. Again, it's taking out this kind of Round Rock area, southern Williamson County, northern Travis County, and pairing it with the much redder territory in central Texas. McLennan County, out here Fairfield, Clifton, Hillsboro, going up into District 6. Give that a second to load so y'all can see it. And again, it's another one of these classic Texas GOP 60-40 districts. The GOP gets about 20-point advantage because they're trying to shore up for what they're expecting is a pretty blue wave. So cracking the Austin area, cracking DFW area, cracking Harris. So 18, we are back, I believe, down in Houston. Yep. This is not a majority black district, but is drawn to be a black access seat. This is a very, huge Democratic pack. And I only say that because it goes off into the Fort Bend area here. You can draw sort of a district similar to this. Just in Harris County, you see a shift right as well, but still pretty solidly Democratic. Here, downtown Houston, southern Harris County, into northern Fort Bend. 43% black population, so black access seat there. District 19. Let's scroll out here and load up District 19. Here it is in West Texas. This is actually a pretty standard GOP seat that you'd probably even draw on a fair map. You got Lubbock, you got Abilene, pretty standard map, pretty boxy because you got a lot of boxy counties out here. Small little clip out of this county to zero it out. but nothing too exciting here. District 20. District 20 is a Dem pack, but this time we go down to San Antonio. This is downtown Behar County. See here, kind of drawn like this to take in the blue areas, even in outer San Antonio, kind of areas around it. When in reality, you can draw a pretty clean circle here, even using the highways as guides, but I definitely want to draw those blue areas out of surrounding districts. So again, another huge Latino district, 69% here, but still another shift right. Another thing to note as just a very slow turnout score. We look at 2020, it's only 39% turnout. District 21 is another gerrymander. This time we take out northern San Antonio, take out part of San Marcos, and we pair it with the Texas Hill Country. Only a slight shift right here, but still a shift right here from 2020. And we can see here, give it a second to load, folks. This is District 21, rather. We go out here in the Texas Hill Country, very red, very rural, almost instantly. Kind of soak up some of this blue in North Behar County, and then southern Hayes County. Moving right along here, we go to back to the Harris, Houston Metro, go to District 22, and see we see the chunks taken out by 7, and by 18 here in just a moment. Out of Fort Bend, we can see taking the redder parts of Harris around Katy, and have the redder parts of Fort Bend County then paired with Brazoria County down here, going down to Alvin, another classic 60-40 GOP district with a little bit of a rightward shift. And then we move on. 23, which I believe, yep, is the Big Bend district. As you can see, this one is I believe this is the largest district by area in Texas, stretching all the way from the El Paso area to San Antonio. This is a district that has a deep history of being this area has been kind of GOP, also kind of toss-upy. We can see 2018 Senate that gets within 3 points, but certainly northern Behar County and these very rural very rural northern portions of it that are very red certainly help keep it red, but those very small population. You can see in the Senate that it's only by R+9, but that it is pretty much redder in the presidential. Moving to Texas 24, we go back to the DFW region. This is the richest district in the entire state by average income, coming in at $147,000 by household average income, and that is because it takes in northeast Tarrant County, lots of rich suburbs here, but also snakes along Carrollton and goes into the Park Cities, where we see a large amount of wealth as well. With Highland Park actually containing the wealthiest census tract in the entire nation. So this district is not as red as the other kind of GOP gerrymanders. This is a much bluer district overall, and we only see a slight red shift here from 2020, but still pretty GOP. But this district might become competitive based on political trends, education realignment. District 25, another district taking a chunk out of Fort Worth. This time, South Fort Worth going towards Euless and northern Arlington, being paired with this rural kind of central Texas, west central Texas turf, going out towards Abilene, but not taking in Abilene. Granbury, Dublin, Stephenville. Very rural areas, again, 60-40, that kind of seems to be their specialty here. Pretty stagnant overall, but again, another big shift from 2020, more GOP, about 8 points here. District 26 is that district I mentioned with 13. Gets Denton taken out of it, but is another 60-40, going up to Gainesville, going out to Bridgeport and Decatur, but also including the bluer areas of Louisville, the Colony, Hebron, those areas down there, northern Carrollton. District 27. It's another, say it with me, folks, 60-40 GOP district. I believe 27. Give it a second to load here. 27 should be down in the Harris County area. Yep, there we are. Or excuse me, to the Gulf Coast area. This used to be kind of a Gulf Coast district, but as we can see here, it takes in a lot of East Travis, Bastrop, San Marcos, and then snakes along here, going into Victoria and Port Lavaca. But this is the real sneaky part of it. It comes down here to Nueces County and takes out downtown Corpus Christi, which doesn't really, make it too much bluer, but does go a long way in making District 34 redder. So a little sneaky gerrymander there. Again, 60-40 configuration. Almost majority Latino, but not quite. District 28. This is Cuellar's district. This is another South Texas district. This one's been changed. It does no longer have a Behar County portion. It stops here in, I believe this is, Atascosa County. Again, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Very red exurb of Behar County. This used to be pretty blue. We look here at the 2012 president. This whole area is going to become dark blue in just a second. Yep, there we go. And almost 70-30 GOP, whereas now it is R plus around R plus 10. Really being supported by Laredo. There is still Democratic base point, but still we see a 20-point shift to the right here from 2020. Which is just monumental. It's a little bit bluer down ballot, with Democrats losing it by only a tenth of a point here. Put that on real quick. See a lot bluer here, but still, monumental shifts rights have really hurt Dems' chances in this district. We go to District 29. This is another district, another Dem pack in the Houston area. Though certainly some of these districts might be required by VRA. This is one of the Latino districts in the Houston area. As we can see here, clocking at 58% Latino. This northern Houston area, pretty Dem, but had a big shift to the right, 12 points. Here just south of Humble. We go to District 30. District 30 takes us, I believe, to, yes, southern Dallas County. This is another attempt at a black access seat, 44% here, taking out parts of southern Arlington for that little extra punch to make to carve up Tarrant County, taking in South Dallas, the best southwest region here, southwest of Dallas. Again, this is black access seat, so it's always going to be pretty Democratic. Another 10-point shift to the right, but certainly doing some work in making Tarrant County, ensuring Tarrant County gets chopped up a little bit. District 31. This is another classic GOP 60-40 mander, which I believe is. One second here, folks. Taking a map a second to load here. I wonder. Here we go. 31 is here in the Killeen area. I believe it takes parts of. Yep, there we go. Parts of Williamson County. Cuts Temple in half and then pairs it with parts of German Hill Country. This rural area up here. Another 60-40. Slow. It didn't shift as much right. So a little bit more suburban in nature. Definitely, you can see. Higher income, a little bit more suburban, but another GOP district. And then we get to District 32. This is one of the wackier ones, to be sure. District 32 used to be Colin Allred's district, but they completely chopped that up. Now you get a district that takes northern Dallas County, so Carrollton, Richard, Garland area, then southern Plano, and up in Collin County, and then drags it out here, county by county, through Rockwall, all the way out to what is this? Upshur County here in East Texas. Another 60-40 one, but this one's a little closer than the rest of them. This one was a lot closer down ballot, with only being about R13. So this is a little bit more of a trickier district for the GOP, but if the shift right is anything, they definitely think they've shorted up enough. So now we go to District 33. We're in the home stretch here. Back in Dallas County. This is Dallas County only district. This is drawn to be a Latino access seat in Dallas County, but also another pack. We can see here, it kind of snakes around on top of District 30, taking this area, Grand Prairie, northern and central Dallas, going up to Farmers Branch, the Mesquite area, Bash Springs. Another 12-point shift, right? So not good for Democrats, but we move on. We go to District 34. This is another one of those South Texas seats. This is the one that's slightly gerrymandered by District 27. So we get here and we see, the Cameron County area goes up here through, is this, I think it's Kingman, Raymondville. I think it's Clayburgh County. I think Kingman's up here, or Kingsville, rather. It goes up into Corpus Christi. As you can see here, this is closer than the rest of the GOP seats, but this one of those majority Latino seats, again, 76%. But downtown Corpus is taken out by District 27, and we can see that makes it a fair bit better, but it is bluer down ballot, with still being blue in 2020. District 35 is here. This was the former I-35 district, I believe, that went up from San Antonio up to Austin. It has now been drawn out of there, and it is now probably the closest district in the entire, one of the closest districts in the entire state. Only R+10 in 2024. It's been on the knife's edge most elections, but still has a slight GOP advantage. Again, their 8-point shift towards the R's. You've got Southern Behar County here. Then you've got, I believe this is Guadalupe, and then the redder counties, Wilson, Karnes, though Guadalupe is, of course, pretty red in its own right. District 36. We move on to, where's 36 at? Oh, yes, here, East Texas. This is going to be a red district, but this is the one that takes out that little area below 9. We'll get it to load here, and there's the other crack of Beaumont. You can see here most of Beaumont's in there, but parts of Beaumont are cracked off into 14. Goes up into the Lufkin area, but then of course sneaks around Baytown, takes Baytown out, and then goes Pasadena, takes this little area out. So District 9 is red. Then we go to District 37. I think this is our last blue district, 37. This is Austin. Only a 6-point shift to the left here. But this is definitely a little pack in Austin. Though certainly you'll have a seat like this regardless, because if you're drawing with one within Travis County, of course it's going to be blue. So not too much there, but it is interesting. They took the governor's mansion out of this district, I believe, right down here. District 38. We finished the map off with, and this is back in the Houston area. And we can see that this is Cypress. You can see this is kind of a little snake down into downtown Harris County. Hasn't moved very much. I think this is one of the smallest shifts to the right of any district. Very highly educated, almost 50% bachelor's attainment. Very high income, 140,000. You get the villages down here, down in near Houston, going up into kind of the Houston suburbs. Very wealthy areas here. You can see here it's been pretty static, but it's gotten progressively a little bit more Democrat, and a little bit more Democrat down ballot in the Senate race, and certainly in 2024. So that is a little highlights of all the districts here. We're going to fill them now and kind of swipe through a couple of elections to just show overall how the map has changed, and then we'll close it out here. So this is 2012. You can see here that South Texas is a lot bluer. And that that one district 35 is kind of pinkish, and the other areas of the state continue to be pretty red. We look at 2016 president again. We see, give it a second to load in here. I believe it's loaded. So pretty blue. South Texas. There we go. One of the things that people like to point out, we get some pink districts here in Harris, here around Behar, 23. A lot of people like to see how this thing performed under Beto. So here we'll put on Beto's performance, 2018 Senate. Give it a second to load here. It's a big map, folks. My computer is not the best. Okay, so we got Beto on here, so we see that 35 is a lot closer, 23 is closer. We start seeing some pinking in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We see that 9 is blue under this configuration. Them doing particularly well there. We see 10 become kind of pink. But at the same time, 2018 governor, when Abbott runs for re-election, we start seeing some of the South Texas district break. A lot of those pink districts go back to pretty solidly red. Look at 2020 presidential. A lot of those South Texas districts, stay pink or are starting to become more red. But certainly you see some cracking around here in the Dallas area. 2020 Senate's a little different story. The Dallas area getting a little redder when it loads. And then we come up to 2020. Yeah, here we go, a little bit redder. Here we come up to 2024. So we'll take a look at the presidency. So 2020, the Senate election was redder than the presidential election, and then the reverse happened in 2024, where the Senate election was bluer. 2024 president, we see red areas down here. South Texas is basically gone. These areas up here are pretty red. But if we look at the Senate race, some small glimmers of hope. See these areas become a lot pinker. Some hope down here, South Texas. This area is over here, is a little pinker. And 32 and 24 are not as red. Overall, huge gerrymandering victory for the Republicans if they get this map passed. Disenfranchise a lot of Democrats across Texas. Even though the state got redder, they still have a lot of Democratic pockets. This map seeks to undermine. This is kind of the quick version, as much as I can do a quick version of a map with 38 districts. Please let me know if you all want to hear more. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back with more videos hopefully soon as I'm working on some big data projects. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.